there guys, Misty here from TheJollyFatElf. Welcome back. So today I am going to be using the Night in Bethlehem set again, but today we're going to be making a pop-up card and I'm so excited to show you how to do this. So don't forget that you can head over to the coordinating blog post to get all of the measurements because there are several of them. So first things first, I have a piece of basic black that I cut at 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4 1/4. This is a standard size card base. I have a piece of crumb cake that I cut at 5 1/4 by 8 1/4 and I scored it at 4 1/8. I have a piece of the Merry Music Designer Series paper that measures 4 by 5 1/4. I have a piece of the Merry Little Christmas that measures 2.5 by 5 1/4. I have this piece which measured 3 by 5.5. And once again, I just did some partial die cutting so I could have this bigger part at the bottom, and we may end up trimming this down. And then I have a panel for the front of my card for my sentiment. This measures 3 3/4 by 2. So this measures 2 1/4 by 4. And this measures 1 3/4 by 3.5. So we will do all of the stamping and stuff later. Oh, and I've also cut out my pieces from a piece of Dazzling Diamonds Glimmer paper. That's a lot. So to make our mechanism, starting at the fold, I'm going to measure up to the 1 inch mark. Just make a little tick. And you can do this with pencil, but I want you to be able to see, so I am using Sharpie. And then I'm just going to draw a line. And again, this is from the fold. Then we need 3 pop-out things that are going to hold our city. So I'm going to scoot over about 1/2 inch, and I'm going to cut all the way up to that mark. And then I'm going to scoot over about another 1/2 inch and cut all the way up. I'm going to scoot over another 1/2 inch or so, maybe 3/4 inch, cut up to the mark, cut up to the mark, cut up to the mark, and cut up to the mark. So every other one, I'm going to push out just like this. And I'm just going to push down. Just like that. I'm going to do it on this side as well. And then I'm going to fold this in half. Make sure we're lined up. And I'm going to burnish these. And then this is the inside of our card. And our city will adhere just like that. Okay, but before we do that, I want to stamp my sentiment. So I'm going to bring in my inside sentiments. I'm going to bring in my stamp set. My Misty. And I'm going to be using this Blessed Christmas Wishes for the inside. So I want that on the bottom corner. Make sure that is straight. He's not. I'm going to go ahead and stamp this with Memento. Stamp it one more time. All right, before we go any further on our inside card panel, I'm going to adhere the star background. Just using some liquid glue. And then we'll go ahead and do our front card layer. And this is the Christ is Born. Christ the Savior is Born. So what is that? Silent Night. So I have decided that I will be selling my cards. The ones that I feel like are worthy of selling. So I will be selling these in my Etsy shop, my Planning with the Elf Etsy shop, which will be opening this weekend. So if you are interested, you can go there. The price will just vary depending on how much work had to go into them. So I can't tell you how much yet, but some tearing tape, which I know will adhere. So there we go. If you're noticing that my manicure looks a little whack, that's because I did it myself. And it was the very first time ever in my life that I filed, shaped, painted, and it's gel on top of that. So it was a very interesting adventure. But they're not horrible. They could have been way worse, let me tell you. Let me tell you something. I'm not going to add any more dimension to this card because with the pop-up, it's going to be a little bit more dimensional. So that's the front. Let's work on our inside. This time I did not add anything behind the windows. You could if you wanted to, but I didn't want to. So I'm going to use tearing tape again. Actually, you know what? We'll just do it like this. I'll just use a little bit of liquid glue. add Mary and Joseph. Gonna add the shepherd. And then I'm gonna add the star. So when our recipient opens the card, this is what they're going to see. And you know what? I think I want to add... Ooh, nope, I'm not going to add nothing. I was like, maybe I want to add Winga Stella. Maybe I want to add nothing. I'm going to use liquid glue to adhere this. I'm going to adhere the bottom first. There's going to be a little bit of a border. And then we'll adhere the top. So when your recipient receives this in the mail, it'll look like this. And when they open it, they'll see this on the inside. So thank you so much for joining me today, guys. I hope you enjoyed this card. Like I said, all the dimensions can be found on the recipe, which is over on the coordinating blog post, which you can find linked in the description box down below. So yeah, and like I mentioned, these will be for sale in my Etsy shop starting this weekend. So thank you so much for joining me, guys. I will see you real soon. Bye for now.